What is happening? J Gamer Dude here, and it's been a while since I've actually talked about any sort of anime that I've been watching or reviewing or just whatever else maybe, and there's a good reason for that because I just finished rewatching Great Teacher Onizuka, and I suppose saying the word rewatching is not completely fair because I never watched it fully before. I probably maybe watched until episode 24 and never came back to it. But yeah, so this time around I watched all 43 episodes of the show, which is why it took a while to get through the whole thing, because it's like nearly like a year's worth of watching an anime for like once a week. You know, like if it was one episode a week, 43 episodes would be nearly a whole year, would be short, maybe like a month and a half. But with all that said and done, Great Teacher Onizuka is from 1999. It follows the story of Eikichi Onizuka, who is a biker gang leader turned teacher because his dream is to become the greatest teacher ever, and he shows this through some just incredibly unorthodox methods. So this is very much a slice of life with some decent set pieces, and there's some great stuff in here that you just would not expect to see for like a guy who's trying to be a teacher. There's a lot being thrown at you. The voice acting is really well done. The art style still holds up, and it is a very 90s art style, so they weren't really pushing for like what anime kind of became in the 2000s, which was more sort of cutesy. They were still very much going for like the realistic face proportions, eyes, like I mean you can see in this art right here as well. So the story does revolve around Onizuka a lot, about how everyone is trying to get him out of this job, but the fact that he continues to power on through, he always looks forward to that next challenge and is just an absolute beast in every single sense of the word. He is the man, and that is no hyperbole on that one. Without a doubt, he deserves to just be one of the best main characters of like most anime that I think I've ever seen in a decent amount of time. And I suppose it just goes back to how classic he is as a main character, because a lot of things in the show would not slide nowadays with the way in which America kind of shows itself in, like, say, stuff on YouTube, the way that things are handled there. So I hope that, like, a lot of things can be taken from the show and moved forward, but yeah, it's pretty, give or take. Like the idea of like, spanking kids when they've done something wrong, which was very normal at the time that the show was airing, but yeah, I don't think a lot of people would see that as great nowadays. But yeah, no, this show is great. It is nigh on exceptional. The first half especially, where he takes on these very sort of problematic kids. They're trying to get him kicked out or to just make him run away from the job as a whole, but he just keeps coming back for more and powers on through everything that not only his most problematic students throw at him, but also like the vice principal throws at it, like the other teachers throw at him. It's just everyone is against him, but he slowly brings them onto his side to say, look, despite the way that I act and all of this other junk, I can still be a damn good teacher and better than you, sad lot. But yeah, it's just fun, man. It is a fun show to watch. It is a great amount of enjoyment when you actually really sort of get into it. Now, it would be remiss of me not to mention some of the things that weren't so great about the show, and I'm specifically talking about the later end of the show. I would say that the last 10 to 12 episodes especially, where they shift away from Onizuka and shift onto like his students and the relationships between those students, which is really unfortunate because I feel like Onizuka was carrying most of the show, and the only reason the other characters even began to matter was because, well, the other students in his class especially, is because they're supporting him. He is the centerpiece of the show, so when you shift him aside, it does feel like we're watching a very different show altogether. And so there was really no reason to do that, and especially with the last 2 episodes, I feel like you've just completely rushed over what possibly could have been an entire arc. But when you shift away from someone who is so integral to the entire plot, that is driving everything forward, both in equal parts the plot and the overall interest in the show, which again, the show was made so good because he was there. Now, so that was a bit of a downer. Something that I really like though is that the opening is really good. The first opening is really good. The second opening, very much less so. The second ending is not that great, and the reason why I left, so there's 2 openings and 2 endings. The first opening, okay. The second opening, yeah. The second ending, yeah. Now the reason why I left the first ending for last is because this ending theme is GOAT tier. It is S tier. I will not hear anything more about it, because this ending theme is so good. It still rings into my mind, even though I haven't seen that ending in quite some time. I can still hear it in my mind as I'm talking about it, and it is worth just putting into like your repertoire of songs because it is exceptionally well done. There's not much in the way of animation going on. It's because the song is just so good. It's so good. Oh man. So that's the reason why I left that for last, is because first opening, people may say it's God tier because it just reminds you of the show. But if I ever go back to the show and watch that first half, the first ending is the thing I'm going to listen to first before I even watch the show. Don't get me wrong. The first opening is still pretty good. It pales in comparison to the first ending. Also with how energetic the opening is and how kind of gloomier the ending is. Like that was kind of the dichotomy back in the day of like how anime was treated, where it's like you've got this poppy opening and then you've got a sad ending. Regardless of how the show, how the episode started or ended, it just genuinely did not make any sort of difference. And this was back in the day when they actually made songs for the show, rather than making songs and then picking out random songs to then put as the ending or opening to that particular series. Less so, but yeah. So all in all, 60 to 70% of the show, great stuff. It's just that sort of last 10 to 12 episodes that really kind of drag things down, because it shifts away from Onizuka as sort of the main character. So if I were to put this on my mail right now, which I'm going to when I get my phone, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. It is a great show, and it holds up well, especially with the art style, the story. It's just that sort of last, again, little bit just really drags it down, and the opening and ending, the first opening and ending, keep it up, but it's like the second opening and ending just don't quite really hit those highs that I've really been wanting it to, since the first ending is just absolutely god tier. So yeah, an 8 out of 10 from me. It is a great show. It is an old show, but all the more recommended for people to watch. And I am going to be talking about another anime shortly as well, because I have almost finished watching it, and it is a shorter show, so look forward to that. But with all that said and done, let me know what you guys think about Great Teacher Onizuka in the comments below, if you have seen it recently or if you've just seen it at all, and whether or not you're actually going to watch it, what your thoughts are, and all the rest of it. If you've got your own sort of review and thoughts you want to share, feel free to like this video if you like the way that I share anime, and if not, dislike it, feel free. And subscribe to the channel. I definitely like more anime fans, again, to just come back to this channel, talk about stuff, share these videos, and just have a good time. But with all that said and done, I'll see you guys next time.